here it seems like you have shadow in the background. I would, if you have the ability to turn it off, that would be great, because it's adding to the silhouette of a character, and it looks messy and it's difficult to review the work, because as you can see, it makes this kind of silhouette. So when instead you should have something like this. Another thing is the leg. As I can see here, I can assume like the leg should be on the floor, which is not, because the shadow is right here on the bottom, and it's not contacting the object. Like right here, it's almost touching the ground. You could also try to use like additional tweak controls. You can turn them on, as far as I remember, in the main controller, and you can shift this part of the leg down a little bit. Just have to try it and see if it works, because sometimes it looks weird and sometimes it looks pretty good. So like you could try going like this with the leg. Where this is where the shadow will be, and it's touching the object. Also, if you have time, try to sketch this pose from the imagination, to test yourself and see how you perceive the pose. So like right here, I can understand that your part of the leg is on the other side, but because it's obscured by this side of the leg, and we can see a gap, it looks like the character is floating. So you should try to maybe lower down this other leg down, see if it works. I don't know. Sometimes the pose that you have on the reference doesn't really work on the character because of the different proportions, and also the ability of the rigs, controllers, and deformation. So you have to try different stuff. Overall, the pose is pretty good. I see like you try to exaggerate the pose, and it works quite well. There's a weird hunch, like bump right here. I don't know what to call it. That maybe is because of the shoulder, but no, I think maybe because of the neck. Probably because of the bed deformations of the rig. So maybe you can rotate the chest like this. See if it helps. If it does not, maybe you could also raise the neck a little bit up, or try to move it up and down position. sometimes it helps, but you have to try to remove it because it looks a bit strange right there. Maybe also give a little more gap right here. You can try to amplify, but sometimes mentors don't like it. Like they could say that it looks a bit broken. You have to see what works better, what feels better. Maybe not bend the head too much like that, because then we don't see his face, and because people tend to connect with character if they see the face, it might be a good idea to, like have a little glimpse of the face of the character. You can also add some expression if the rig allows, like you can close the eyes, something like that. Like that arm is on the leg. It looks okay, but maybe, I don't know, it looks a little bit tensed. If you want, you could try to relax it. Maybe it looks better. It has to deliver the emotion as the main idea, and then you don't have to stick so much to the reference you had, and you can go ahead and adjust it. Maybe even raise the arm a little bit up on the head, behind the head, like he's devastated, thinking about his life or whatever. I don't know. You could think of adjusting the pose so that it looks, so that it delivers the emotion and idea that you have. Also, look at how the leg, like this leg, is longer than this leg, even though this leg is kind of in front, closer to camera. It looks okay when you see it in 3D, but you could try, maybe even adjust the camera or adjust the placement of the leg so that it looks, I don't know, better or logically correct. I don't know how to say that. I guess you know what I mean. Because in 3D it looks good, but because people are gonna be looking at it on the screen, you always have to see if you can make the pose read better. Like you could actually make that leg smaller and into the distance. You don't have to physically, like use the controller to scale it. You just have to move the legs in a way that it looks better to the camera. And this really requires you to tried different ideas because copying the pose from the reference sometimes doesn't lead to the idea that you have to deliver the idea. So you just have to try it out. Okay, this pose, it is the same. I guess there's not much to say because you could apply the same things right here. Overall, it's a different character, so because this guy doesn't have a face, maybe this type of pose is okay here, but because there's a lot of different details, like maybe give some room to the objects, like try to move the camera so that it lays out in the correct way, or try to move like legs away, raise the head a little bit up, pretty much the same thing that I talked about for this pose. Okay. Let me open it up as a video file because maybe Krita doesn't play it back. Yeah, the timing here is a different timing than what I have in Krita. All right. Well, it looks good. Maybe here it's a little too frozen, like at the end, because as long as there is no wind, there is nothing to hold this object from starting to move in the other direction here, because you know like when it starts to move, it makes sense that it goes the opposite direction, but then because it's also slowing down right here, this object would already start to move in the direction that this object is going, the main object. So and it should go like boom, 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 something like a bouncing ball. Dum. Oh wait. Dum, 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 dum. Yeah, it looks good. Dum, dum, dum. Ah, it's lagging a little bit. At the end, it feels like the arc. Let me check it out. This is good. Right here. Right here, you could see. Oh, let me make a new layer so that I don't mess up the animation. This is what we have. Next keyframe. before that we have this. We have this. You see how this object is frozen? It doesn't make sense. Like it should continue moving a little bit to this side. And here it should go in the opposite direction. Already slowing down. If you know how to do it, try to turn on the silhouette mode. You know, like where you turn off the light bulb in Maya Scene, and it makes everything white and black. Basically, the objects are, I think it's black, and the background is white, so you can see clearly what's happening in the animation silhouette wise, and you can spot those things quite easily because you don't have to look at the details. And everything else right here, it's good. Put this part on playback. Yeah, this object at the bottom, it looks like it's moving less than what the other objects on the top are doing. Maybe that was the idea, that it's heavier, but in that case, I don't know, like at the beginning it feels like it's not that heavy, and then it becomes heavier. You know, like it's like somebody is holding it from moving. So basically continue moving it. And for example, right here, it should move a little more, and here a little bit more, and then it starts to dissipate a little bit more, so that you have this arc. Because right now it feels like somebody's grabbing it and it doesn't let it move from side to side. Yeah, I think that's it.